Smashterpieces, a casual walk through the history of the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate roster. My name is Joe.
And my name is Matt.
And this is going to be a bit of a weird episode. Half because, hey, how you doing? We're in the same room. We're sitting in the same room for the first time.
Well, not the first time ever.
First time in the show.
Yeah, first time we've ever recorded something in the same room.
And also, this is a weird episode because this is part one.
Yeah, part one
of
Link to the Past.
I'm assuming 2. I think 2 is all this is going to take us.
Sure hope to. Well, I mean, I am more or less at the halfway point. You're one dungeon behind me.
Yeah, I am one dungeon behind you. That's right. You did an extra dungeon because I stopped watching your stream.
Yes, I was gonna do the third dungeon, but I never got around to it because I had a lot of stuff to do before I came here.
But if you're wondering which game we're talking about, you mentioned the title very briefly, but specifically, we're talking about the game that is representing fighter number... What is that? Fighter number 17, there we go. Zelda. It is the 1991 Super Nintendo game, Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past, which we are both playing on Wii U, I believe? The Wii U version of the console?
I'm playing on the...
You're playing on the SNES Classic, because you bought a SNES Classic.
Yeah. I was like, oh man, I just remember I gotta buy Link to the Past, because we gotta play that. What's that gonna be, like $8? Okay, let's do 10 times that.
So, I believe this episode specifically is going to cover up to the Dark Palace, because that's as far as I've gotten. Like you said, you're one dungeon ahead, but we don't want to like talk about parts further than one person is.
Right. So. I will note real quick. I am through the palace right after the Dark Palace, the Swamp Palace, and this is actually, when I was playing the game as a kid, this is the farthest I'd ever gotten in it. So we are right at that point.
Our goal was originally to get through the Skullwoods.
Because that's the exact halfway point of the game.
But it didn't work out that way.
No.
Because
you got finals coming.
I got finals coming. School started slamming down on me, and then Smash came out. The game this show is based on came out. Yeah. So we've been playing that. But let's get into talking about some Zelda, shall we? It's a game. It's fun.
Yeah,
I'm having a real good time with it.
Okay, so what we're doing this progress report here. This is our first progress report. We're gonna do a lot of the overall talking next time once we finish the game.
Yeah, it'll be the full episode proper. The quote unquote part 2 will probably be overall thoughts on the game. That's where the soundtrack talk is going to come in. This is just like what we've played specifically.
Yeah, and the game is structured a lot like Ocarina of Time. Which, I don't know how much we should talk about Ocarina of Time, considering we're going to be playing that one eventually anyway.
I mean, it's... from what I'm aware, and now I don't know why I'm saying from what I'm aware, I've seen it firsthand now. Ocarina of Time and Link to the Past are the same game, just one's 3D.
There's a little bit of...
There's differences in story, but the structure overall is you get the 3 things, you go to the dark place, you get the 7 things, you fight Ganondorf.
I was gonna say that like Ocarina of Time later in the game has more stuff to do before you actually get to the dungeon proper, but I guess we're not far enough to know if Link to the Past does that.
Yeah.
So yes, structurally it is a very, very similar game. I'd say the biggest difference is that Link to the Past has more of a prologue. Ocarina of Time kind of shoves you right into the first dungeon.
Yeah, well, like Link to the Past also Link to the Past shoves you into the first dungeon, but unlike Ocarina, which the Deku Tree is like a real ass dungeon, Link to the Past it's Hyrule Castle and it's baby's first dungeon. It's barely even a dungeon.
It's baby's first dungeon.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I learned the hard way just how much this game does not waste your time.
Oh yeah,
because when I was playing, the logistics of using save states on the SNES Classic is not great.
I mean, they're convenient, but they're also inconvenient because I keep accidentally hitting the fucking button. But I haven't needed them.
Well, no. So I was trying to make a save state for the boss that I was having some trouble with. So I want to set a save state, which on the SNES Classic, you have to go physically press the reset button on the system and then set the save state of where you are there on the overall menu. And it does not ask, are you sure, if you want to load your save state instead.
That's fucking weird, because the Wii U does. Wii U asks if you want to overwrite the save state.
No. It didn't. It wasn't about overwriting. It was about loading.
Oh.
So I went to save it.
I'm not sure if the Wii U asks that.
Went to save it, hit the wrong button, and suddenly I'm pre-Hyrule Castle.
Because I remember I came into... I don't remember what I had been doing. I think I had just gotten back from work, and I came back to you doing the Tower of Hera. No, you had just finished the Tower of Hera.
Yeah.
And I came back, and you were like, yeah, I had to play the beginning of the game twice.
Yeah, but it was the boss of the Desert Palace that I was making a save state for, because the Beamos in the Desert Palace... Fuck Beamos. They can shoot through walls.
They can shoot through walls and they do so much fucking damage.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, I am at the boss room. I'm gonna make a save state right here before the boss.
And it didn't work out that way.
Yeah.
What was the Desert Palace boss? It wasn't the statues, was it?
Was
it the statues?
I think no. Statues was Eastern Palace.
Yeah, that's what
it
I
was.
thought.
The three snake things.
The three snake things. Yeah. Okay. That boss is all right. I think that the only boss I remember, the only two bosses I remember clearly are the first one being the Tower of Hera boss, because that boss sucks, and that's the kind of boss that's in every 2D Zelda. They keep bringing that kind back. It's
also if it knocks you off in
that's why it sucks. Like the rest of it sucks because it's random, but that wouldn't be such a problem if it wasn't like its random movement sucks, but that wouldn't be such a huge problem if it couldn't knock you out of the arena, and then that resets how many times you've hit it.
Well, that also just makes it so hard to hit. But yeah, it's like it was a Molduga.
I think it's called Molduga. Yeah, that sounds right. But it's this caterpillar thing for anybody that hasn't played the game, which I'm not entirely sure why you're listening to this show if you haven't played it. But whatever.
Some people want to know whether they should play it.
I mean, you should. It's fun, but it's a caterpillar thing, and it moves erratically and very randomly. There's no pattern to its movement as far as I can tell. Yeah. I thought it was like, when it hits a wall, it'll turn in a direction like the screensaver. No, it just turns when it wants.
Yeah.
And there's a hole in the middle of the screen, and there's ledges on the side of the arena, and it can knock you off of them, and it'll knock you down to the next floor. You got to climb back. You got to climb back up to it, and it reset. The worst part is it resets how many times you gotta hit it.
Yeah.
It resets the boss back to its start state.
Yeah.
That's dumb. That's
I know.
stupid.
I don't like that at all.
That boss sucks.
Yeah, that's some horse shit.
The other two bosses aren't bad. I'm not a massive fan of the worms, but they're not bad. I had a relatively good time with them. The statues are kind of stressful. But
the statues are really easy with the bow.
They're very easy, yeah, if you just pull out the bow, because the bow does, double damage to them.
Yeah, he fucking destroys them.
But, they're kind of stressful just the way they move. I don't know why. But also Helmarok. That's the other boss. I remember Helmarok, not because Helmarok is bad. Helmarok is the dark... Is that what it's called?
Helmazar. Yeah, Helmarok's a bird.
I thought people were calling him Helmarok is the bird from Wind Waker.
No, I was making a joke at the Tower of Hera because in Four Swords Adventures, which has the same overworld map as Link to the Past, you fight the Helmarok King in the Tower of Hera.
Oh, alrighty. Helmazar, whatever the fuck it's called.
It's one of them.
He's this big dinosaur, and he's got a metal mask on, and you gotta hit the mask with the hammer. But the problem is, when you hit the mask with the hammer, it makes the same sound that your sword makes when you hit something and it doesn't do any damage. It doesn't do anything.
Well,
so you hit it and your first instinct hearing that sound is, I'm doing it wrong. This isn't what I'm supposed to be doing. It's not doing anything.
But also when you hit it, the first time you hit it, it makes a crack on his mask.
It does, but then it takes a bunch more hits after that to make another crack. And at that point, you're like, am I supposed to, swipe at the crack? Am I supposed to do something, throw a bomb there? What am I supposed to, it's making the sound that usually is telling you you're doing something wrong. This isn't doing anything. And I think they should have had a different sound effect for that.
Maybe.
That's my only problem with the boss. Other than that, the boss is fine. There's not much to him, but...
I am a bit biased in that I already knew how to do it from playing the game years ago.
I mean, the only reason I thought to take a hammer out is because I know how Zelda games work. It's the boss is usually best fought with the weapon you got in the dungeon.
Yeah.
But for all I knew, that might not have been the structure yet, because this is the first Zelda game that was like this.
Yeah.
That structure very much like the Zelda game right before this was fucking Link's Adventure of Link, and it sure as fuck didn't work like that. So,
no. Yeah, this is the game that made all of that structure. This is the first Zelda game as we know them today, in a lot of ways. And I said like 10 minutes ago that sent us on this whole tangent. The game doesn't waste your time. Like,
it doesn't. You get the boomerang immediately.
Well, it's also like once I had to reset, I was back where I was at the end of the Desert Palace within like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
If you know where you're going, you can just go. Which isn't something that I could say about Ocarina of Time, which bogs you down with a lot of cutscenes.
Well, and that was just like what video games were becoming. And video games kind of still are that, but like that was before the time when you could skip cutscenes.
Yeah.
And we're learning.
Yeah. But Link to the Past, it's also, I like the light world, dark world structure that it has. It sets up the game very well, and that the light world dungeons are all kind of a tutorial in dungeons. The Eastern Palace is a very simple and straightforward dungeon.
Extremely. And they're also short dungeons too.
Oh, very.
Like they're maybe, I'm pretty sure I beat the Eastern Palace in like half an hour, and I've never played this game before.
Yeah, and then so the Desert Palace is also pretty straightforward, but it makes things a little more complicated in that you need to leave the palace entirely through a certain door, and then go back in a different door, which kind of teaches you to think about the dungeons in terms of their physical layout a little more. There's also in the Desert Palace, there was one room where you could hear the traps from the room next room over.
Yeah,
which sort of foreshadowed where you were supposed to be focusing your attention on. It's a really good dungeon design. And just generally very good dungeons so far. And then Tower of Hera, you get there, and it's still not really a full-on complex dungeon, but it's the most complicated dungeon you've seen so far.
Yeah.
You're going up and down, you're keeping track of... there's the red and blue switches that bring up the blockades. You're thinking about those and remembering where they are. And then, so by the time you get to the first Dark World Palace, which is just the Dark Palace... You have an idea of what you're supposed to be looking out for. You have an idea of how dungeons work, and it's a more complex dungeon where you need to think about your physical space in the dungeon, where you physically need to go, and what you should set up on your way to it.
Now, one criticism about the Dark Palace, though, because this is something we both ran into immediately, is there is the exact small keys. Somehow we both hit a point where we got to a door, had no keys, had been in almost every room, and we could not figure out where the fuck we were supposed to go.
Well,
to get another key.
On my end, the reason for that was I knew that I knew where I had to go, but I had no idea how to get there because of the cracked walls for bombing. I had to get through one of them, but I wasn't thinking to check them by hitting my sword against them because I was not accustomed to a cracked wall not being able to be bombable. So I was just mentally skipping some of them because I was like, I don't know if I need to go there. And there was a cracked wall that I was supposed to go through that I just completely passed up.
Yeah. For me, I don't remember. I think it was just a chest I had missed when I was walking through. And I guess calling this a criticism is wrong because I don't know what actually was the issue because it was user error on both sides, but we both had the same problem where we got to the same door and realized I don't have any keys. Where did I miss a key?
I think it was more coincidence than anything where in my case, it's an aspect of the game that I think is a minor problem, but still a problem. And it just happened to hit me there because that was the first place where you had to worry about bombable walls.
And I think I think for me it was just I might have just missed it. I'd been playing for a couple hours at that point. That stream was Tower of Hera and Dark Palace, and I had also just been wandering around doing shit. Because basically the way I've been doing this so far is I will stream a couple of dungeons, and then I'll go off stream, and I'll pull up a walkthrough, and I'll go grab all the heart containers I missed. Because I need all the help I can get. I'm bad at games. But for that reason, I'm going around. I have the ice rod already. I've got the magic boomerang. I have the fire shield. I've got like 9 hearts. I'm good. I'm doing fine, and I do that off stream because I'm pretty sure nobody wants to watch me read a walkthrough and figure out where I'm supposed to go pick up heart containers. So I do that for you. Be grateful to me.
You just pointed at the microphone as though anyone
can
see that.
Now you see what I do when I record podcasts, because you being in this room has changed nothing. But overall, like I like this game. I'm a little spoiled in that I played other 2D Zeldas before this, and they have obviously improved upon the gameplay a little bit.
They've also kind of like led us to expect certain things that aren't there yet.
Like slashing diagonally. You can't do that. It's messing me up.
Those aren't in like any of the 2D Zeldas.
Can't you do that in Minish Cap?
I don't think so.
Can you not? I thought I remember being able to. Huh.
No, I think the only one that can is Link Between Worlds, because that was a full 3D game just on 2D controls.
Huh. Maybe. I don't remember. But also, I'd like to point out real quick, speaking of, this is the only 2D Zelda on the whole list. All the others are 3D, which kind of says something about like the priority in Zelda games that Smash puts.
Well, it's because this is the last 2D Zelda until Link Between Worlds that Nintendo made.
Was it? Yeah, no.
Well, Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks, I think they made.
Did they make Link's Awakening?
Wasn't that Capcom?
No, those were the Oracle games. Capcom made the Oracle games.
Capcom also made Awakening, didn't they?
Did they? Well, it's time to look that up. I don't think they did.
I am pretty sure that Capcom made Link's Awakening.
It doesn't seem like it.
Click on Wikipedia. It's not going to say it there.
I'm not sure.
Control F Capcom.
No.
I guess not.
They're listed in companies. They made, who made Minish Cap? Was that Capcom?
That was definitely Capcom.
Well, let's find out. That, in fact, was Capcom.
Yeah, it was.
So
specifically, it was Flagship, which was the fake company. You know how Project Sora was a fake company between Nintendo and Sora Limited to make Kid Icarus Uprising?
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure Flagship was the fake company between Nintendo and Capcom.
So, like, they made Link's Awakening after this, and then gave Capcom Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons, and that, I guess that they liked that so much, they just gave Capcom 2D Zelda for a while.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But yeah, the 2D Zelda really took a back burner after
Ocarina.
Yeah.
After Ocarina, like, took off like a fucking wildfire.
Became one of the most influential games ever made.
And also, the other half of that is, when you're making a fighting game with 3D models, a lot easier to base your models off of a 3D game than it is a 2D game.
Yes.
So if you have that option, you're going to take it.
Yes.
Which I imagine was part of the decisions.
Yeah.
But I think this is the first time one of the characters has been based, like, heavily on a 2D design, because Zelda's based on Link to the Past, and I don't think that's ever been before, because it's always been Ocarina or it's been Twilight Princess, and those are it. And Wind Waker, yeah.
Yeah, and Toon Link is specifically Wind Waker. He doesn't have anything from Minish Cap.
Yeah. And so, like, obviously they're going to pick the 3D ones. It's easier to make a model off of that. But it just goes to show you, like, a lot of people don't have a lot of experience with, unless they're big Zelda fans, they probably don't have a lot of experience with 2D Zelda.
Yeah, or unless they like grew up around the time that Link to the Past was contemporary.
Yeah, like
we kind of just barely missed out on that ourselves.
We did. Like, we haven't hit games that came out when we were born yet.
I mean, Link to the Past did, but we were extremely young.
No, I wasn't born until a year after. Well, it came out here.
Wasn't it like 93?
It was 91 in Japan, which is the date that we have on here.
I thought it was 93.
In North America, it came out in 92. I still was not alive. April 13th, 1992 in North America. I was born in December.
Okay. So I never even owned a Super Nintendo. Like, my family never owned a Super Nintendo. So...
my uncle had a Super Nintendo, but Link to the Past was not one of the games that he owned.
Yeah. So, we're still gonna... It's not until we hit 64 that it's... Or, like...
64 is when we'll hit the games where, like, oh, I played this as a kid.
Yeah. I mean, some of these games I have played.
One of the Super Nintendo games we will hit where I'm like, yeah, as a kid, this was a big part of my childhood. But for the most part, until we hit 64 and beyond, it's not going to be like, I have extensive experience with these games.
Yeah. You are at you've done 4 dungeons. I've done 5 dungeons. So we are just before the halfway mark of the game. How do you like it?
I like it so far. I like it a lot. I'm having a good time.
Yeah, I think this is one of the best games that we've played in general. I think so far I would still say I overall like Mega Man 2 a little more. Mm-hmm. But
it's hard to compare the two because again they're different genres.
They're completely different genres.
And
they have nothing to do with each other.
This is the first time we can say that in a while because, like I said at the end of the Myths and Monsters episode, this is the first non-platformer we have played since the first episod of Smashterpieces, being Duck Hunt.
So we can't really directly compare it to Mega Man 2 because it's apples to oranges.
Yeah, but this is a good break from platformers. I think this is a great break for platformers.
Yeah,
we're not going to get another one for a while after the next game. Yeah.
Even though it's not a platformer, we can't compare it directly to most of our games, I can still say for sure this is one of the best games we've played.
Like, just based solely on experience.
Yeah. It's so solid. Like that one issue that we had in Dark Palace, that's really the only thing in the whole game that I could say is just bad so far.
Well, the boss of Tower of Hare. Boss of Tower of Hare is pretty bad. But those are the only 2 things. That's just 2 things. That's 2 things in a game we've both played for like 6 hours now.
Like one shitty boss.
Yeah.
Oh well.
And no game's gonna have nothing but great bosses.
Yeah.
Well, I think Kid Icarus does, but Kid Icarus Uprising. But I had to specify because the other 2 don't.
So going forward. So you've only had like one of the Dark World dungeons. I've had 2, but they start to ramp up in the Dark World. How do you expect that to go for you?
Not great.
Not great.
But I'm like I said, off stream. I'm grabbing all the heart pieces I can. I'm making sure I'm ready.
There's one dungeon that I tried. I have at some point in the past given you a hint on, trying not to like expressly give you a hint because I don't want to spoil it for you. But I sure hope that when you get there, you remember what I told you.
I have no memory if you tell me anything, so don't have a lot of hope for that.
I specifically said, hey, remember that.
Yeah, I don't remember at all.
Well, that's gonna suck. And when you get there, and you're gonna be like, why didn't they ever tell me that? I'm gonna say, they sure did.
Awesome. That'll be fun. But yeah, it's a fun game so far, and we'll hopefully get back to it soon. This is being recorded the Saturday before finals start.
It is December 8th.
I have a couple of projects that I got to finish personally, and then I have to take my finals, and then I'm good. And I should have a lot more time on my hands after that to finish the game. And who knows, maybe right after finals, I'll just do a stream where I blow through the rest of the fucking game.
Yeah.
Who knows? We'll see.
So, do you want to, instead of doing some fucky thing where we pretend that we're not doing Street Fighter today, do you want to just jump right in and do our preview for Street Fighter?
Not in this episode. I don't want to talk about it. But I will say that, sorry if you're listening to this, you missed the Street Fighter stream. Let me go ahead and cover what is happening. So we are going to record our pre-show for Street Fighter that's going to go in the next episode. It is being recorded ahead of time.
It's being recorded right now.
Like, we're recording it pretty much right after this. I want it to be a separate file, though, so fight me.
What?
Because I'm picky. I edit this, I get to choose. But basically what's going to happen is, because Matt is here physically in my presence.
Not going to happen again for a good while.
Not going to happen again for minimum a year, minimum half a year, and that's minimum. That's an estimation. We're going to play Street Fighter 2, specifically the version that is on the SNES Classic, which I believe is Turbo.
I don't know the name of it. If you want to know that bad, you can Google it.
Street Fighter 2 Turbo. I did at one point. I don't remember what it was, but we're going to be playing that. We're going to be playing that on stream. Pretty much the reason I say if you're listening to this, you've already missed it, is because we're going to go play it right after we record these things on stream. If you're wondering why there was no Street Fighter stream,
there was. You just don't pay attention.
You should pay attention to our Twitter, and you'd know these things. It's just
and it also happened to be free the day we announced that we're doing it right now.
When the weekend is happening with Smash just came out. God, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, fuck everyone that works on Saturdays.
But it's just some weird scheduling shit. This was more convenient for us. Basically, the way this is going to go is I'm hoping I'm going to have this out a couple days after this was recorded. I can't do as much editing on these anyways, so I'm just going to go through and cut out some unneeded fluff, throw some music on the front and beginning, and because it's not 2 tracks, it's a little harder to cut out like unneeded stuff.
Yeah.
But so I'll try to get this out pretty quick. The Link to the Past Part 2 will hopefully be in the next week or two, maybe a little more than that. And then whenever that comes out, Street Fighter 2 will come out 2 weeks after that. It depends on a schedule. We have a plan that we're hoping to get to Kirby before, if that pans out. We'll see, but it'll come out like at least a week after Zelda. We're not going to release them back to back.
No.
Because I listen to enough podcasts that I know when people release a bunch of podcasts en masse, it's the most inconvenient. So
So that's not all the housekeeping that we have to do right now, though.
Oh boy, what's the other housekeeping? Right! Shit! We should actually take care of that now. That's a good point. I didn't think of that. We have another game to add to the list.
Yeah, oh boy.
And this one's not a hard decision. So, we've been screaming about this for 3 days now. 2 days, 2.5. The first non-Piranha Plant DLC character was announced at the Game Awards, and it is motherfucking Joker for Persona 5. I'm sorry. So I'm gonna level with you guys. Joker was on our list of, man, this would be cool. It's never fucking happening.
Fighter number 71, Joker. Hot damn.
The coolest thing! So the game we're gonna play, obviously, it's
Persona 5 Dancing in Starlight.
I was about to make the exact same joke. No, we will be playing Persona 5 for Smashterpieces. We're gonna play Persona 5 for Smashterpieces!
That game's not going to be for a good long while.
Yeah, it's not going to be for a good long while.
That is a 2016 game.
It's going to take a good long while. That might now be the... Now, is Xenoblade still longer in Persona 5?
I want to say depends. They're both about the same length.
Okay, that's what I figured. So now we've got 2, like, almost 100-hour games on this list, so that was fun. Because not even Final Fantasy VII is that long. That's like 50, 60 hours at least, as far as I'm aware.
I think it's like completionist 50, 60 hours. It's like 30 hours just to go through the main quest.
And this is cool because I believe this is accurate, saying that Persona is like one of our favorite series each. Like, we both really like Persona a lot. It's my favorite series of all time. I fucking love it.
This is something that I never even... Like, I can't really comprehend that we are discussing this for this podcast.
Yeah, this is weird, but I'm looking forward to those streams. Look forward to them in 3-4 years.
Something like
optimistically.
That. Well, I don't know. We're not allowed to stream Persona 5 to the end.
I don't care if they can fight me. They'll never see it coming. But yeah, so that game's being added to the list for Fighter number 71, Joker. It's going to be the 2016 game, Persona 5. So excited.
Join us next time for fighter number 72, Kazuma Kiryu.
Join us next time for fighter number 73, literally Goku.
At this point, I really, genuinely think that Goku has a genuine shot. And I don't know what to think about that.
So, yeah, that's gonna be cool. I'm starting to wonder. So we just got really lucky that Joker was on our possibility list because he was on there as a joke.
We don't need to be lucky for that. It's not a hard choice.
Well, no, like I'm not saying we were lucky as, we already had a game picked out. We're like, we have this like maybe list, this possibility list.
It's still not a hard choice.
No, that's not why I'm saying it. Hear me out. We have this possibility list because it's like, these are the characters that could be a Smash. And Joker was on there as a joke. Reggie says that all the characters...
bunch of jokers.
Reggie says that all the characters are probably going to be more, if not more unexpected.
Reggie's a hype man, though.
He is.
That's his literal job is to get you excited.
How many of those characters do you think will be on our list? There's 4 more. How many of those do you think we already have on this list?
I do not know, but I think we got to make that list a little bigger now.
I can't think of who else we could add.
Do we have one for Dragon Quest? Because I feel like we should have one for Dragon Quest.
No, because I wouldn't even begin to know anything about Dragon Quest.
We got to figure that out. People.
But I think that does it for Housekeeper. We're getting a bit long here. It's about half an hour long, and that's around the time we were aiming for.
Yeah,
was this long? So yeah, Link to the Past Part 2 will hopefully come out soon.
Yes,
we'll try and get it out soon. Pay attention to the Twitter if you want to see when either of us are streaming, and play some video games.
Or no, yeah, whatever.
We're gonna go play Smash now. Well, actually, we're gonna go play Street Fighter, but I want to say we're gonna go play Smash now. So just pretend we're gonna go play Smash now. Anyways, with that, I'm Joe.
And I'm Matt.
We'll see you next time.